Hello, beautiful people. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I just am here, the creator and writer of the Honestly Sis newsletter, a bi-weekly newsletter geared towards millennials who are truly trying to get their shit together. And I am here for another daily motivational video. We're using tarot to become the alchemists of our lives and to teach us how to become spiritual beings. A little bit about me. I do not use the tarot. I use God and customs in the same sentence, and I may mispronounce some things, but if it does not stop Charlamagne the God, it will not stop me. So guys, let's go ahead and get into it. I'm pulling out my favorite cards, which I probably shouldn't say that in front of a deck of all my cards. Angel number 35. I really love this deck, so let's get into it. Dear God, guardian angels, and ancestors, what information do you deem worthy for us to hear at this time? Please deliver no doubt or confusion to me or the viewers' mind. What do you feel worthy for us to hear? This is my last message. I'm so proud of myself today. Today was a good day. Today was a good day. Oh, yes, Jesus. Very interesting. Oh my God. I feel like this is a message, a personal message I got, and it was so good. It was actually, I really feel like this is a personal message I had, and it was really good. So I'm kind of glad it did come back out on this channel. Angel number 117. The message that came out is creativity and isolation. Angel number 123, along with space. Ooh, with protection right under it. I feel like what God is saying is that some of you guys may find yourself in a place of isolation. You may find yourself when you are feeling very lonely. And I feel like what God is saying is that instead of focusing on this isolation, really use this time to dig into your creative side. Like, I really feel like what God is saying is that this time He has you isolated, and He probably has you probably had to release a lot of people, people, places, and things out of your life. And He did that to make space for the new to come in. And so instead of dwelling on the people that's not there, instead of dwelling on the isolation, I really feel like God is saying use this time to fuel your creativity and to just really focus on becoming the best version of yourself. But don't take my word for it. We're going to go to the book and get some more. All right, creativity. So creativity, you have creativity. We all have the capacity to be creative and express ourselves. Don't shy away from engaging in creative acts and pursuits. When you're feeling inspired, it's important to embrace that magic, spark, and excitement and enjoy the creative process. So I'm reading that one more time. We all have the capacity to be creative and express ourselves. Don't shy away from engaging in creative acts and pursuits. When you're feeling inspired, it's important to embrace that magic, spark, and excitement and enjoy the creative process. And so what God is trying to get you to understand is, again, instead of dwelling on the isolation, instead of the isolation is going to make you feel gray, it's going to make you feel down, it's going to make you feel isolated. What God is saying that if you use this time of isolation of doing, of just being creative, of just exploring whatever creative endeavor it is, whether that's you writing a book, whether that's you painting, whether that's you doing photography, whatever it is. It could even be like a different way of cooking or how you decorate your house. It doesn't matter. God is saying like you have to find little creative projects for you to do because it's going to heighten your energy and it's going to make you feel good. And we already know if you feel good and your energy is heightened, then guess what? You're going to attract good. But if you allow this isolation to make you feel sad and all gloomy, then guess what? It's going to go down, and what you're going to attract is what? Lower vibrational things. And we don't want that. So let's read this card of isolation. Isolation. Being isolated can feel lonely, but it can also be a tremendously healing. Being isolated can feel lonely, but it can also be tremendously healing. When you're feeling secluded, it can be a time to learn more about yourself, to dive down deep into the parts of yourself that you can't reach when you're around others, and learn the importance of some alone time. Give yourself the chance to heal and to rediscover yourself. And so I feel like God is saying, instead of trying to fill your space with people, instead of trying to fill your space with going to do these things that you really don't want to do, God is saying, actually take this time to like really sit in the isolation. Angel number 446. For me, I realized for one, I have since a kid. Matter of fact, I'm not even gonna say since a kid. When I was in college, we used to talk about like, you know, having your own apartment and move, you know, all this stuff. And I used to say I never wanted to be in my own apartment, engine number 502, because I didn't want to be alone. I didn't want, like, I just have never ever wanted to be alone. Like, I've always wanted to have this craving for people. And so I spent a lot of my life being in groups, and especially when I got in college, like the first little friend group I had, I just attached to it. Was it healthy? Was it the what I should be in? Probably not. But it was just like, I just did not want to be lonely. I didn't want to be isolated. And so I say all that to say that since from childhood, from college, probably until my, you know, my younger adult years, when I first started getting into, you know, the corporate world, becoming an adult for real, I was always in these groups. I was always tied with these people. It was always like a lot of people around. Like, I may have had like maybe a summer or two of isolation, but I was really always surrounded by people. And so it wasn't until recently that I realized like I was just really feeling lonely. Actually, shout out to Chris, I think her name is Chrissy, but it's somebody that I follow on we follow each other, Chrissy Corners on IG. And like me and her was just talking about, you know, there's really a strength and there's really beauty in being able to be, you know, comfortable with yourself and to be able to be in isolation with yourself and to spend a long time. Like, there's really power in that. And I was telling her, like, I just realized, like, I've never in my life been isolated. I've never really been alone. This has really been the only time in my life where I really have not had anybody else to listen to, or the only person the only person that's dependent on me or that I need to listen to is Cuddy. And you know, he's my dog. So it's like, this has been the only time in my life where I don't have to, you know, worry about other people or, you know, nothing. Like, I don't have to live for nobody. It's just me. And like, as scary as it is, I also realize it's necessary. And I'm realizing, like, I love being by myself. Like, I can be, like, I see people on my timeline all the time, like, oh, I gotta get out this house. Like, I could literally be in my house for weeks at a time. And I've been in my house low-key for 2 years, and I have not had a problem because I got, honestly, sis, right? You know, like, I'm always doing something. And even if I'm not doing something, like, I would literally turn on music, dance in here, have a concert, in my car, having concerts. Like, I just really have found a way to, like, have fun with myself. And, like, it has been healing. Like, it really has been, y'all. Like, I really have, when I tell you I have been the type of person where I wouldn't even go out to eat by myself because I'm like, oh, I don't want nobody to be like, loser. You know, like, only thing that I would have did by myself was going to the movies. But now it's like, I just see the beauty and the confidence of being able to pull up somewhere, eat, and leave. Like, you know, it's just like a confidence in that. And so I say all that to say that, you know, instead of, you know, dwelling or feeling bad about this loneliness, really try to see what it's trying to teach you, what God is trying to show you, and really dive into that. The last message that I want to focus on is this message of space. Space. You may feel alone, and like you got lost here. But it's important to remember that you can feel this space. What is it that you are looking to fill your life with? Is it certain type of people, a new project? How can you take action towards your goal? The void is only temporary space, and it is ready to be filled. So you see what I'm saying? Like, what God is saying is like, everything that has been taken away from you, it's been taken away from you probably because it wasn't really in alignment with where you were trying to go and who you're trying to be. And Renato one. So instead of like dwelling on it, what God is saying is like, focus on what you want to add into this space. And I realized, like, I was telling another video, like, you know, I was able to attract my ex not really being in the most healthy state, not really knowing myself at all, like really being on some lost shit. Like, I may have had my degrees, but bitch, I was lost deep down inside. I did not know myself. And I'm like, if I can attract somebody like that, like somebody who I was physically attracted to, sexual, you know, like all of those things, he was passionate, he was fine, you know, like all of these different things. If I can attract somebody like that when I'm not my best self, who can I attract when I am my best self? And so it's like, instead of like focusing on all these people I lost, I'm really realizing, like, you know what? low key, God took away everything that the only thing I can focus on is this goddamn book. The only thing I can focus on is bringing this to reality. And like, even me doing my trips, I'm realizing like my laptop is always going to be with me this year because I have so much work to do. And it's not like it's a bad thing because it makes me feel good. So I just want you to know, whatever this isolation that you're feeling, fill it up by doing creative projects that make you feel good. And I told y'all, it's not just, honestly, sis, I low-key, everything about my life is a project. My face, I found me an esthetician. I go to her every 2 weeks. And so it's like, now that I do that, that's like, I paid special attention to my face. So now I have a whole FaceTime routine. You know, I'm trying to get my nails. I'm trying to take care of my hair, trying my eating. Like, it actually is a full, like, when you really think about it, it's actually a full-time job trying to take care of yourself and trying to be healthy. And so it's like, instead of dwelling on what I don't have, I'm just focusing on who I'm trying to become. And I noticed that when I focus on that, it fuels my time up because I really don't have time for anything else. Okay. All right. So we're going to go back into, this money and law of attraction, because I do feel like this is a energetic thing that is going on. God, clarify this message of creativity, isolation, and space. What do you want us to get us to understand about, okay. What are we doing? What are we doing? I'm like, what are we doing? Okay. All right, guys. We'll clarify this message of creativity, isolation, and space. What do you want us to get us to understand about taking time to be alone, about not filling our space with bullshit, but just really making sure that we fill our space and our time with things that feed us? How does this help our vibration? How does this get us into the vortex, allow no room for doubt or confusion in me or the viewer's mind? In God's name, I pray. All right. So my imagination attracts all cooperative relationships. The universe and all physical and non-physical players in it is responding to vibrations that you offer, and no distinction is made between vibrations that you offer as you observe and vibrations that you offer as you imagine. If you would simply imagine your life as you want it to be, all cooperative components will be summoned. And even more important, all components that are summoned will cooperate. It is law. The experience you have with others is about how you evoke them. And so that's why God is saying, if you would not spend your time focusing on all the BS, all the people that left, and, you know, if you would just really just focus on what type of relationships do I want? How do I want to fill this void? What type of people do I want to have in my life? How do I want to spend my days? What type of vacations do I want to have? Like, I really had to think. I told y'all, like, I was just sitting in my house for damn near 2 years. We know we've been in a pandemic, but even before that, my 2 years started like a year before the pandemic because I broke up with my boyfriend. So it was like, I've been in isolation, but when people saying I was in quarantine before quarantine, I was in quarantine before quarantine, okay? Not a good thing, but still. And so I realized last year where I was just like, oh, like, I gotta do something. Like, I realized, like, I was so focused on just, you know, building, honestly, sis, waiting for these manifestations to come in, that I was finding myself disappointed because I needed the manifestations to come in. I needed this thing to go to show that I was doing the right thing, that I was working for, like, I was moving forward and working towards my goals. I needed these manifestations to come in. And then it like just suddenly hit me like, you know what? Oh, I can't just wait. I got to create things for me to look forward to. I got to find ways to make myself feel better now. And when I changed that, I planned me some vacations. I started changing. I said I wasn't going to do anything out of fear. Like, I did all of these different things. And now my energy is so totally different. I got a promotion at my job. I got a bonus at like all these financial, physical manifestations came in because I like started shifting my energy. I started changing the way that I think about things. And instead of worrying about the space that I had, about the loneliness, I really just started to live my life and build my life on what I wanted to look like. And now I'm planning for my birthday. I'm going on like a 6-day vacation. And I'm like, still like, damn, this is not enough time. Like, I'm going to LA by myself. And I'm just like, I don't think I have enough days. Like and I'm by myself. It's not like I'm trying to like do stuff for other people, but it's just because I've learned the beauty of my creativity. I learned the beauty of living the life that I want to live. Like, you have to recognize nobody knows what type of life you want to live. One, you have to create it. And the way that you can create it is not only creating those little projects, but also visualizing it in your mind, observing it, playing, acting like this is happening, imagining this. That's why another reason why I am going to LA and driving and doing all these things, because I want to show my body what it feels like to live in this and be in this type of world. I say I want to be a writer. I'm taking myself on a writer's trip so that I can see what it's like to be and feel like being a writer and being out in public. Thank God I had masterclass, and it was Dan Brown, and he was just like, angel number 1546, like, the good thing about being a writer is you can have an excuse to go anywhere. You can have an excuse to ask people any type of questions. And when he said that, it just freed me. And I just realized, like, oh shit, like, I'm writing about Cali. I've never visited Cali. Why don't I go visit Cali for my book? Like, it was just like a light bulb moment. Oh my God, look at this light bulb. This light bulb moment just came out. And then after that, I just like kept thinking like, oh, well, okay, so I want to do this for this book. But in my next book, I plan on going to this. And then I want to go to Egypt. And it's like, I just realized like, oh, like there's so many places I can visit all under the skies that I'm doing this for my book. And it's okay that if I'm isolated, because what I'm really doing it for is the book. Like, that's the excuse that I'm doing it for this lifestyle that I want to live. Another example of this, angel number 1637. If you go look on Drake timeline, he actually has this picture of where he had somebody had bought him, I think for his last birthday, somebody bought him this Rolls Royce that he used to rent all the time. And in the caption, he talked about how he used to rent Rolls Royces and all this stuff to go to the show so that he could feel like he was a rapper. So he could feel like he made it. And he like, he's so good at that. He's such a good guy. Anyways, he like, I don't recommend anybody doing that, but like, if you really listen to it, he's showing you how he manifested this reality. And for a lot of people, in order to manifest it, to really get themselves in this imaginative mode, sometimes they have to put themselves in that environment. So just like me, putting myself on that writer's work trip, putting myself in LA, Drake putting himself in his Rolls Royces to go to the show. So it's like, you have to do these things. You have to remember, you can't get what you're not willing to become. And so what God is saying is, instead of focusing on the isolation that you're feeling, the people who are not here, the people who let you down, blah, 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 all this other stuff, focus on becoming the person that you want to be. What is it going to take to be that? And then fill your space with becoming that. Fill your day with activities to become the thing that you want to be, okay? Angel number 1811. All right. For isolation, it says, others' opinions are less important than my personal guidance system. I love this. You did not intend to use the opinions of others to measure against your beliefs, desires, or actions in order to determine the appropriateness of them. Instead, you knew and still remember long after you were born that it was the relationship between the opinion of knowledge It was, that it was the relationship between the opinion or knowledge of source within you and your current thoughts in any moment that will offer you the perfect guidance in the form of the emotional guidance system. And so what this is saying is that you don't have time to be worried. Other people's opinion about you is not your business. You don't have time to be worrying about what people think about what you're doing. You don't have time to be worried about what people think about your isolation, what people think about what you're doing to fill your cup, fill your space. You ain't got time for that. They ain't even your goddamn business. But the problem is we have been conditioned to believe that that other people's opinions matter, that our parents' opinions is greater than ours, that our pastor opinion is more powerful than ours, that our elders, we're supposed to listen to them even if they ain't fucking wise. It's like God is trying to show you that the only person that you're supposed to live for is you. And so if you found yourself in a place of isolation because you decided that you're going to trust you and your God source, then guess what? All of that other shit was supposed to go. It wasn't meant to be on this journey with you. And so instead of judging yourself, instead of looking at or worried about how people think about what you're doing or how people come, don't worry about that. Focus on filling your space with things that make you feel good. Focus on filling your space and focus on living the life that you want, because worrying about what other people think is not going to get you closer to your goals. Guess what it is going to do? It's going to fuck up your vibration. It's going to fuck up like your observation, because guess what? It says your mind, the law of attraction, doesn't know the difference between imagination and observation. So if you're imagining that nobody understands you, if you're imagining that nobody gets you, if you're imagining that everybody judges you, guess what? The universe don't know the difference between that. So they're just going to bring people judging. They're just going to bring people, they're going to magnify that and manifest that into your reality. So that's what I'm saying. You don't have time to even worry about that. All you got time to do is focus on your creativity, focus on making sure you feel good, and focus on building your relationship with you and your God source. Okay? Last message. Why do I want the relationship I want? Think about what you want in a relationship and why you want it. Look for those around you who are experiencing good relationships and feel appreciation for them. Let's pause. This talks about relationships, but this could also refer to people's lives. So look around at people, look around at people's lives that you like. I said it before. I like Savannah James. I like how she moved. Recently, I was looking at her timeline, and I'm just trying to, I'm like, how does she move? Do we hear her talk? Nope, we don't hear her talk a lot. She just posts a picture, posts a shit about her kids. Like, so it's like, I look at the people that you admire, see how they move, and then see how you can, and it's not about like emulating it, but it's like, I don't know, maybe emulate it. I don't know, like, the key is don't hate on nobody. The key is don't hate on nobody. Use all that shit as inspiration as to what your life could be. So if you want to be like Savannah James, think about like, oh, well, look how that I feel like the reason why I bring up Savannah James, because I feel like she represents a girl like me. A girl from, Midtown, Midwest Detroit. Somebody who, she seems very down to earth. She seems stylish, but she also seems very about her family. She has a high profile man. She's been in a high profile relationship and has not had no drama, no bullshit. She haven't been in the blogs. And to me, I'm like, I aspire to be with a high profile nigga. I aspire to be on one of those levels. I aspire to have a good relationship, a good family unit. How can I get that? Okay, this is how Savannah's moving. This is how she seems to be doing it. Until I can have a conversation with that bitch, I'm just going to observe her and start moving like her. This is what I'm just trying to get you to understand. Instead of like focusing on all the other stuff, it's like you just really have to get control of your thoughts and like really focus on the things you want. Make a list of the positive aspects of the good feeling relationships you have spent time with. In fact, one of the fastest ways to make your way to a wonderful relationship is to find any subjects that consistently feel good, even if it has nothing to do with relationships, and focus on that. And so this is what God doubling down on, whether you want a relationship, whether you want a new type of career, it doesn't matter. But what matters is that you focus on feeling good. You focus on imagining. And when you are imagining, you're observing, you're feeling good in your body. You fill your day with things that make you feel good. You don't focus on the loneliness. You don't focus on people who are judging you or trying to make you feel less than. You focus on feeding yourself. If you do that, then you're going to get closer and closer and closer to your dreams. Okay? That is all the messages I have for you. I feel exhausted. I'm actually going to leave you guys with a worker like, I feel exhausted, y'all. All right, guys. Clarify this message of my imagination attracts all cooperative relationships, isolation, and creativity. Others' opinions are less important than my personal guidance system. Space. Why do I want the relationship I want? God, what do you want us to understand about us using our mind to get closer to our goals? What do you want us to understand about? Okay, things feeling good. Things feeling good in our mind, body, and soul, God. Oh my God. I'm just gonna stop shuffling because y'all, guess what this card is? Oh. This card, I've never pulled this. Keepers of the earth. You are not alone. And ancient ancestors stand beside you. Angels number 2440. You're not alone. You are not doing this by yourself. You are not alone. That's why God is saying, spend your time doing something other than focus on the isolation. This is the card I'm going to leave y'all with. And the other card that came out is Soul Family, calling your soul tribe. You do not have to do it alone. So this is for fill your space. God is saying, fill your space with people who make you feel good. Fill your space with people who make you see, who inspires you. Remember, this card says, what do you want to fill this space with? Yeah, you isolated now, but how do you want your next 5-10 years to go? How do you want your friend groups to go? How do you envision your holidays? How do you envision your birthdays? Do you guys go on vacations? How do you spend your summers? How do you spend your winters? All of this is very, very important. Final message, Keepers of the Earth. You are so supported. You do not stand alone. You have a magnificent team of helpers, both in this world and of Earth, who are here to help you every step of the way. Call upon them for assistance. They are here to help. The Keepers of the Earth acknowledge the work that you have done already and are ready to work through you. They bow at your feet and thank you for wanting to stand for them, to devote your life to protecting the earth in your unique way. It is time to increase your capability to receive support in the physical realm. This can come in the form of financial abundance, acts of service from strangers, or people flocking to help you in your work. The only thing that is stopping you right now is your capacity to receive support. You deserve to be rewarded for the work that you are doing. You do not need to do it alone. Call upon the Keepers of the Earth to help you in your mission. Open your heart and mind to receive more than you ever thought possible. What kind of support do you need? Call it in right now. When I was just reading this, guys, I was thinking about my life. And like, I talk to you guys all the time about me having, turbulent relationship with my parents. Me, not really feeling close to my siblings. But then I just think about like these relationships I have with like people in my building. And like the other day, I did all this stuff to make me smoothies. I went to the fruit market, washed it, did all this stuff to meal prep these smoothies, and then I literally put the stuff in my blender, and my blender broke. And so the first person I thought to go to is like this lady we call Grandma. Like she lives on the first floor, and she just always does really cute stuff for Cuddy. She be giving him cheese and shit. Oh my God, y'all. She gave him ice cream. I was really kind of bad. She gave him ice cream, but y'all should have seen Cuddy's face. Like, he was like, what is this? Like, Cuddy was so excited to have ice cream for the first time. But anyways, so like, she just always just be like super nice. I kick it with her. We talk every now and then. And so I went down there like, hey, do you have a blender I can just borrow real quick? Like, I have this stuff in this in my blender, but my blender broke and I just don't want it to go bad. I don't want to throw it out. And so she was like, oh wait, actually I have a NutriBullet. And so she goes in her closet and she like, oh, actually you could just have this because I've never used it before. And first she was about to give it to me, giving me all the accessories. And then she's like, you know what? If you don't ever give that back to me, it's not a problem. Actually, just don't give it back to me. And I was just like so happy because it's like a beautiful NutriBullet. It's big. It may not seem like nothing to nobody else, but to me that means everything. Angel number 2904, because it's like, I don't know. I'm just not used to people doing nice shit to me, or being super nice to me. And like, I'm just realizing like, when you are nice to people, or not even like being like, you're not trying to be like manipulative nice to people, but when you just like be genuinely nice or curious or friendly to people, like people just really respond to it. Like I remember one time I went to Kroger's, and we're boycotting Kroger's right now, But one time I was going to Kroger's and like all the bananas that was out there, they were just like really nasty. And I was just like, oh, these do not look good. And the dude was like, he's like, you don't look like you're enjoying any of these bananas. Like before that, I had like said, hey, how your day going? And he's like, oh, busy. And I was like, I know about it. And so I was looking at the bananas and he's like, you don't look like you were enjoying any of those bananas. I was like, I don't. They look so ugly. And he's like, hold on, I got a secret stash. And he literally went and got me fresh bananas. And I was just like, this is just so nice. But I say all that to say, like, it don't matter how your life goes, what type of relationship you have with your parents or any of that shit. If you just decide in your heart, in your soul, like, I'm just going to be me. I'm just going to show up as a channel of light. I'm just going to be my best self wherever, however, wherever I can. I'm going to open myself up to receive the love from God. I'm going to acknowledge that I have a whole spirit team that only wants the best for me. You will start seeing how God just be like looking out for you. Like even down to, this is my last story. I told y'all like I'm planning my birthday trip and like I had this Airbnb booked in January. And like I thought it was a nice one, like yeah, like a hot tub. Like I was like, oh, this is gonna be so great. And like it ended up getting canceled. And like at first I was like really frustrated because I was like, damn, like I really wanted to kind of have that part of my trip out of the way. But like they reimbursed my money really quickly. The people was really apologetic about it. It was a real like seamless process. And then I booked this new space and it's like 10 times better. It's actually in a location where my book is set. So it's like, it's good that I'm in this type of space because then I can really, so it was just like, at the end of it, I was just like, damn, thank you, God, for like canceling. I literally was like, thank you, God, for canceling that Airbnb, agent number 3131, because now I have a way better, space now. So I say that to say like, it don't matter how your life has gone. Like God can find ways to bring in angels. I call these divine angels. Like it can be, I've had shitty jobs my whole life. Well, since I've been in here, not my whole life, but since I started working, they have been shitty jobs. And in every shitty job, God has sent me an angel or somebody that sees me for me and that protects me. Under this is protection that protects me and keeps me grounded and keeps me focused. Like they tried to fire me from my other job because I had anyways, they tried to fire me from my other job. And like this guy who I call like my like work dad, he was just like, no. He's like, no, like Amber we're not about to do her like that. She's not that type of person that you're trying to make her out to be. Like, I know, like just really like stood up for me, really protected me. And like, I just say like that all comes from my faith. And because I just trust God at this point. And the number one thing for me is about being happy. So I don't mind disrupting my thought process. I don't mind cleansing my spirit and trusting my intuition so that my energy can be all that it needs to be. And I can get the abundance and the comfort that is meant for me. I'm not afraid of addressing these ghosts and these things of my past so that I can grow into the person I can be and I can move on past this thing so that I can have peace and move beyond anxiety. So I can illuminate to truth and surrender to the path and rest easy towards success with determination, minus frustration, hunger, and ease. I can keep, look, I pull all of those cards and that it didn't mean, and I believe it. I believe all of that. I genuinely believe everything I just pulled. All of that stuff came for a reason. This is about trusting. This is about having faith. This is about allowing powers outside of you to take care of shit. You ain't got to do it all on your own. And that is your hope and wish. Put your hand on your heart and repeat after me or touch and agree with me as I say this. I am open to receiving a whole new level of comfort. I am open to receiving a whole new level of support for my life, my work, and I call it in now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am open to receiving a whole new... Okay, so it says... Oh, I have read this before. Because it says, include any specific requests you want here. So I'm going to make sure I put this in the description box below. I am open to receiving a whole new level of support for my life and my work, and I call it in now. Love, support, and foundation for Odyssey Sis. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am open to receiving a whole new level of support for my life and my work. I call it in now. A brand new job that is in full alignment with who I am trying to be. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am open to receiving a whole new level of support for my life, my work, and I call it in now. A work environment and a career that is in full reflection of who I am trying to be. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, y'all. That is all the messages I have for you. If you are feeling isolated, focus on filling that space with your soul family. Ooh. Focus on filling that space with your soul family. If you instead of dwelling on the isolation, really focus on those creativity and thinking about the life that is great. Think about the perfect life that is perfectly created for you. All right, y'all. That is all the messages I have for you. I will see you next week, y'all. Love y'all. Take care.